Hey guys, so today I did a bunch of handstand push-ups, and I know that a lot of my clients have been asking for me to do some YouTube videos and explaining how, to do things like handstand push-ups, or toes to bar, or muscle ups and things like that. So I thought today I would finally take the time to talk a little bit about handstand push-ups. I know a lot of people struggle with them, and a lot of that has to do with hand placement. So if you're trying to get your first kipping handstand push-up or strict handstand push-up or whatever you're trying to do, or even if you're just at home in the garage and you're kicking up on the wall or the house, you can work on these right now. I know that a lot of people aren't able to get in the gym, but as long as you have a wall, you can do it. I've done it inside my house, in my living room. Just make sure you don't kick through the drywall and the sheetrock because that sucks. But in here in the garage, I have some stuff on the wall that I can use to kick up on. It does kind of bounce a little bit, so if you see my feet bouncing, that's why. But yeah, we're going to talk about where our hand placements should go. So a lot of people have issues on their handstand push-ups or handstand walking because they don't put their hands in the right place. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. So if you're planning on kicking up and holding a static handstand, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your hands facing forward. So the reason why we do that is because as we go to lean, our fingertips are actually going to counterbalance and it'll put us back in the right position so that we can hold a handstand. Again, this is talking about a static handstand, right? So you always want to push through your thumb and your pinky and your fingers, and that is going to then counterbalance with your feet to tip you back, okay? So that's if we're trying to hold a static handstand hold. If you're trying to handstand walk, we want to turn our hands out just a little bit. This will allow your shoulders to track over your hands, and depending on your wrist mobility, that'll kind of dictate how far over your hands you're going to be able to go. But we want to make sure that we have our hands turned out a little bit, because right there and leading with our shoulders to go over, that's going to allow us to have momentum to keep going. So when a lot of people hold or they're trying to handstand walk, but they get stuck and they're just right there and they hold a really nice handstand hold, but they're trying to walk, most of the time that's because their hands are facing forward and their fingertips are actually making it so that they're not able to get their shoulders over to then walk. So just try and turn your hands out. Everyone is different. I've had 2 wrist surgeries, so I have to turn my hands out just a little bit more than the average person because I'm not able to get my hand flat against the ground and push through that way. So you're gonna have to mess around with this a little bit. Again, there's 100 ways to skin a cat. Same thing goes for handstand walking and gymnastic stuff. You'll have to find out what works best for you, but if you can turn your hands out just a little bit, allow your shoulders to rock over your hands, you'll be able to then just start handstand walking. Now when we talk about on the wall, it's the same kind of thing, because if my fingertips are facing forward and I go to kip up into a handstand, a lot of the times we'll go to kip and we'll fall off the wall and we won't stay up against the wall. So again, turn your hands out just a little bit, and that should allow your shoulders to track up so that you're able to go up the wall and instead of coming off the wall, okay? So basically what I want you to do is we always want to make sure that our hands are in the same spot every time when we kick up onto the wall. A lot of times you can find your spot, because all of us are a little bit different, but you can find your spot, and what I suggest doing is making marks on the ground where your hands are going to go, especially if you're just beginning. You're going to want to put like an X or even get chalk on your hands and just put a chalk mark down. That way that every time you go to kick up onto the wall, you're making sure that you're kicking up into the same spot and going up against the wall, coming back down into the same spot. A lot of times if we kick up and we're too close to the wall, it'll push us right back off the wall, okay? So we want to make sure that we have a lot of times you can just kind of put your fist down, and that's typically where you should be. You're going to have to find, again, what works best for you, depending on how your butt and your feet hit the wall. That'll dictate a lot. So, again, you want to make sure that you start in the same position every time. Typically, this lunge position will allow me to reach out and then kick up into the wall. So I always try to make sure that my feet are in the same spot. I'm going to have my hands open just a little bit, kick up slow, find the wall, come back down. If you're too slow and it's hard to get up, you can be more aggressive. Kick up, hold, come back down. So don't forget that we always want our eyes facing the wall away from you, right? If my eyes are facing down, you'll see a lot of people that have this kind of thing in their back and their neck, and we don't want that. We want to stay stacked. So if we stay in line like this, that's going to allow us to sit and press, just like when we go to do our pressing movements. We don't finish a rep like that. We finish here because that's a stacked position, okay? So it's the same thing that we want to do here. So as far as doing a kipping handstand push-up, a lot of people will come down and they won't come down in one motion, right? So when we squat or do a thruster, we're here, down, up, all at once. We don't just go here, then here, then here, then here, okay? There's a reason for that. We want to use our momentum on our handstand push-ups. And so that's why when we kick up, when you come down, you want your knees to bend together and your arms to come down together. So it should be one fluid motion, then explode and get up, okay? So I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'll kind of show you different ways that people do it. But we want to try and stay in a frog motion, right? So if I turn my hips out, okay, and I bring my hips up and back down, that's a shorter distance and a shorter motion than if I bring my knees to my chest and then come out. So a lot of people, when they're having issues kicking off the wall and they can't stay on the wall, it's because they'll bring their knee to their chest and kip out rather than bring their knees out and kip out, okay? So I'll show you what I'd like to see. Kip up, okay? And when I come down, up, kick up, down, up, kick up, okay? Again, we're just looking for efficiency in everything that we do, and that's kind of the frog kipping handstand push-up, okay? So that's what we want to try and do. We want to try and stay fluid, try and bring our arms down, press up at the same time, and then come back down. Try and keep your body as close as you can to the wall when you go to kip, because if you kip out instead of kip up, you're going to come off the wall, okay? And then lastly, if you feel your butt, because some people are big booty Judies, and their butts will actually push them off the wall, just bring your hands out just a little bit from the wall, and that should allow you to be able to get your butt to track down the wall. So when you go to kip up, you'll get up to the top. So that's just a little run around on hand placement and kipping handstand push-ups. Hopefully you guys learned something today, and yeah, hit that like button and let me know if there's anything else that you guys want to know about or talk about. Yeah, have a good day. Stay safe.